Welcome, YouTube. Hello, this is Bigfoot Explorer live on Wednesday night, minus the wine here tonight. I've got a headache. This evening, we have
Christy Sci-Fi.
And we also have Mr. Patrick Vaughn from North Louisiana. Hi. And on the line, we have someone in waiting, and that's going to be our guest. But we're going to go ahead and say hello to a few of our subs first, and then we have something to share with y'all before we get started with our subscriber encounter here today. So let's see who we have in here. I know everybody is watching Bigfoot Odyssey. We have 16 people in here tonight. There's old Joe Parker.
Joe. What do you know, Joe?
What's up? There's Mr. Gordo Cooper. Welcome.
Pat.
Thank you. There's Martha.
There's Pat.
Where's Pat at?
Pat is somewhere up in here. Scroll down.
Let's see. Miss Pat. Bruiser Bites is in there. Mid-South Sasquatch is in there. Robert D is in there. There's Big Rob. Thanks for being here, guys. Miss Ann Burr.
Brian Sturdy
says hello, Christine Patrick. There's O'Brien. Hadn't seen you in a while, brother. How's Pittsburgh doing? Can you tell? New Orleans is not happy right now. Drew Brees just hurt his thumb. So we're out our starting quarterback, I guess. Well, Pittsburgh. Ben's out too. I'm not sure. Big Ben. But Brian, thanks for joining us. We have a few new people in here. Bill Pullman, hello, welcome. Pat Harrison, hello, Pat.
Margaret Bridges.
Yes, there's Margaret Bridges.
She said hi to all of us.
All right, thanks, guys. Let's go. We have a short little intro here. Sci-Fi here was invited to go with Lady in the Woods. They had do you want to go ahead and tell us?
An expedition where a couple people went to meet and greet in Fouke, Arkansas.
Sweet. But we're here to tell you though. Okay. Our own Christy Sci-Fi actually found Sasquatch.
I did.
And we're about to show that now. So it's time to get ready. And this is a rare moment, fans. There it is, fans. There it is. Get a good look at him.
Looks like my last date.
She was that beastly?
Yes. There and she was representing. She's got the Bigfoot Explorer sticker. There's the Monster Mart right there in downtown Fouke. That's right, fans. Downtown Fouke. And once again, get a good look at Sass right there. Got a little chipping around the nose, it seems, but that's all right. That's no problem.
I'm having flashbacks, man. I'm having flashbacks.
Having flashback. Hey, it is brown. So yeah. So that thanks for going. She's gonna talk a little bit. Do you want to do this? Let's do it after.
Yeah, we can do it at the end. We'll do it at the end.
After Carl's little deal here, we'll talk to Sci-Fi about the outing at Fouke, which is gonna be cool too.
Well, Pat's in here, so Pat can back the story up too. So Pat, don't go nowhere.
Yeah, Miss Pat
Joe
also went as well.
And Martha.
And Joe. One other thing to show you guys that's kind of hysterical. I wanted to bring it up because I wish we had more people on, but eventually some people might see it. This is my latest toy. And you're going, what in the hell is that? Of course, I've already it's pimped out with the Bigfoot Explorer stickers already, right? So what this actually is is I witnessed knocks in North Florida. Patrick knows this all too well, but I don't. And the things I heard, I started thinking, I'm like, man, I want to carry something to mimic and possibly do our knocks if we're on a stakeout or certain investigation. So I started researching a good bit. And this is an actual instrument. And for people that don't know, this is called a clave. It is an instrument they use in bands, and it usually is just 2 sticks. But this one is like a Cadillac of the clave instrument world, I'm finding out. Just check out African clave instruments on YouTube, and you'll be floored about all the stuff that they have on it. But it's a hollowed out piece of wood here, and what it is a half moon cutout here. It's a chamber. It's a sound chamber. And the way you do it is your hand makes the other side of the equation. It makes the chamber. You hold your hand there and you make a sound chamber, and you'll see that? It's loud in here. Anyway, that's my new toy.
Hey, so it's not used for this?
Yeah, really. So we may be including that on some of the investigations at night to see if it elicits any type of response, if it's more of a playful, if we get more of a playful type knock. We have a lot of discussion to deal with. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Mr. Carl. And Mr. Carl wants to remain somewhat anonymous, so we're going to know him as Mr. Carl. Okay. Let me make this banner real quick. He is from the great state of Alabama, and we have been chatting for, I don't know, the past 2 or 3 weeks on some of the Bigfoot activity that's been ongoing, and now it's happening where he lives. And we're going to talk to him. And he wanted to call in. So it might be a little difficult because he can't see us and we can't see him, but we can hear everybody. Carl, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Awesome. Folks in the chat, can you guys hear Carl? Why don't you go ahead and start, Carl? When and where, how did all this get started for you with Sasquatch?
I guess, I've kind of believed in it my whole life, but I always thought of it something being up in the Northwest.
Yeah, right.
Oregon and Washington, up in that area. And I guess it's probably around about 2004 when they started having them skunk monsters or skunk apes down in Florida.
Right.
They started talking about that. I got to think, well, that's not that far from me. That wouldn't be unreasonable for them to be around here. Then time progressed, and I was been in law enforcement, and
okay.
And sometimes I would get tired, and just out of safety reasons, to keep me from wrecking a $30,000 vehicle and killing myself or someone else, I find a graveyard out in the middle of nowhere and pull up in there and just get a little shut eye.
Yeah.
I'd hear knocks down in the woods, it sounded like somebody with a baseball bat, and I'd be thinking, who in the world would be down there at 2:30 in the morning beating on the side of a tree? And it'd be places you wouldn't want to go in the daytime.
And this was while you were kind of on patrol, right?
Yeah, that's what happened while I'm on patrol. And I had another house I lived in not far from here, and same thing. I'd hear them knocks. And back then, I didn't have a clue what it was. And I guess it was about the time Finding Bigfoot come on, that's when I realized the knocks was that's what I was hearing. And I've had a crossing back in 2013 above my parents' house, which is in the county west from here. There's no doubt that's what it was. When I first saw it, I had, turned on the road, and my head, it was like 8 o'clock at night, in October. And when I first saw it, I thought it was a herd of deer going across the road. So, how you light to catch a herd of deer. And as I got closer, it looked like a big guy with a parka on, like a big giant hoodie. And then I noticed when he slung his arms up, they were stuff hanging down, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm looking at. And the time I got up there where he crossed the road, I looked over, and there was an old logging road there, and there's a big post about probably 8, 10 foot tall, and his head was over the post, and he was standing there. And I'm still trying to figure out what good saw, and I hit the brakes and spun around and came back, and it was gone. There was nothing there, and I got thinking, well, heck, if that was a person, they'd still be walking down the road.
When was this? What year was this?
This is early 2012 or 2013. I can't really remember.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Wow. I love how it went. I love how it went to, you thought it was somebody with a hoodie too, because of the, I guess, the shape of the head.
You got these big parkas on, man. It
Yeah.
like somebody with a big parka. It was kind of barrel chested, And but there ain't no doubt that's what it was, because you could see the hair hanging down about 6 inches long, hanging off his arms. But at the time, all this stuff goes through my head in a few seconds, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck am I looking at. A guy from California came back in 2005. This farmer he actually saw it out in his field on the edge of the wood line, and was losing some calves and stuff. And apparently he had some footprints and stuff. And this guy came from California, and he checked it out. Said there was a family car living in the area. And well, this is within a mile of that location. And the person with me, and this person ain't into Bigfoot, don't believe Bigfoot, none of that stuff. And but she happened to see one cross the road to the right of us when we was going through an intersection, and she was chewing on some ice, about choking on it. And I
she
said,
was
"What?
chewing on what?"
I don't know. It was big and tall and hairy, and it looked like it had a lion's mane on its head. So I hit the brakes and spun around. Anyway, it was gone. But I'll get up to the point where I moved to this place here.
Okay.
I bought this place in October or November of 2013. There's 52 acres. It's on a dead end dirt road. It's a mile long dirt road. It's on the very dead end. And I got a creek on the back of my place that runs along the border. And then there's all 3 sides of this place has got creeks. So there's only one way in here. You can't get in here unless you fly on a helicopter or parachute in here without me knowing, There's just
right.
down here. But I was doing some clearing out of the roads on my place, and I had some old saplings that were hanging over in the road, and every time I drove down there, it slapped my truck, and I got tired of it. So I went down there with my chainsaw to cut, and my chainsaw quit on me. So I pulled the machete out of the truck, and I chopped these saplings down. And anyway, I was probably 75, 100 yards away from the spot where I cut the saplings out, and I just picked the phone up and took a picture of it. And I didn't see anything at that time. And later in the evening, I sat down and I was looking through the pictures, and I said, "Oh my God, that's got to be shadows." That's my first thought. That's got to be shadows. And the next day, I went out at the same time, same spot. I reproduced everything exactly the way it was the day before. And I retook the picture, and all you see those 2 pine trees standing there. There's nothing in between them. I mean, it's just pine. There's nothing there.
Right.
If you've seen that picture before, you can see there's something in between them 2 pines.
Yeah.
And
do you have that picture to send now?
I took that picture back in it was 2014, about February or April of 2014, I think.
I think you sent me that picture.
I sent that to you. I sent that to you. And Christy took it and she brightened it up.
Yeah.
You can actually see it a lot better.
Well, we're that's the one picture that we're still trying to find, but we'll see if we can get it. So you didn't really see it then, though, when you took the picture?
At that time, I didn't see anything. I was just taking a picture where I put some saplings out of the road.
Right. I see what you're saying.
And, I've had odd stuff happen around here, and I just never thought nothing about it. It just didn't, you know what I'm saying? Just didn't really
compute, yeah. So what are some other things that are going on around the house?
I have had house slapping. I've had stuff thrown on my roof.
Really?
I've had yells, growls, and I've had, when I'm sitting here in my den, I hear rumbling noises. And I'll get to that. It's now stopped, and I'll tell you how it stopped. I was sitting here and I could hear it sound like distant thunder, or like somebody. I was watching something one time, and the guy said it sounded like rocks in a river rolling, just rumbling. It makes a rumbling sound. These small rocks that roll across the bottom when the river's going. And I got to think about it. I said, you know what? That sounds like that. It's just like distant thunder. But there would be no clouds. You look on the weather radar, there'd be no clouds on anywhere.
Yeah.
But I hear it constantly. I hear it at nighttime. I hear it at different times during the day.
In the house, though? You were in the house hearing it?
Yeah, sitting in the house, I could hear it. It was right in the same corner of the house. I heard it all the time. And I eliminated everything. I said, well, that's got to be the plumbing, man. I thought, well, that's the plumbing. So I plugged up all the drains and stuff, and I eliminated everything.
Right, yeah, you're troubleshooting everything you can think of to stop this sound.
And I got to listening to some of these stuff on the internet. They got to talking to infrasound. I got thinking, well, that might be what I'm hearing. It could be infrasound. And I've heard the knocks. I've heard the knocks in the daytime, and I've heard the knocks at night. I have found footprints. I've found X's down close to the creek. I got one spot on my place where my road runs on the backside of my place. It's about a mile, I guess about a mile long. And there's 100 places that you could push trees over and pull saplings over. But it never happens anywhere else. It's always in this bottom. And the other day, yesterday, I took my bush hog. I was bush hogging my roads out and getting some of my deer patches ready to plant. And I got to that spot, and there's this tree, probably about a 10-inch, 12-inch round tree that I cut down months ago and drug, took my front end loader and pushed it off in the woods. And it was dragged out into the road, across the whole road. And there was another sapling that had been bent and broke and snapped and made it kind of like a pyramid shape, going across the road with the other tree. The two trees together kind of formed a pyramid.
Okay, hey, listen, I'm going to try to get those pictures up real quick, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and while I'm doing that, Patrick has something to ask you. So, because you guys can't see one another, just kind of after you finish asking a question or you talk, just give it a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, so that y'all try not to talk over one another. That might help. Okay, so go ahead, Patrick, while I look for these pictures.
Mr. Carl.
Yeah.
What kind of knocks were you hearing exactly? Did it sound like wood, or did it sound something different? Did it have a cadence to it, or a rhythm? or how many at one time, or, you know, do you recall happening?
Say it again, Patrick. Say it again, Patrick. I'm sorry.
What kind of knocks sounds were you hearing? Did it sound like wood or some other material? Did it have a cadence to it, a rhythm? How many knocks were at one time? You know, was it multiple knocks? Do you remember how many there were that were happening?
Okay, I heard him that time.
Okay.
The ones that are around the other house I used to live in, they were 3 knocks. And the ones where I was on patrol and I would pull over and rest, I'd hear 3 knocks. And that happened on patrol. I don't know, man, 5 or 6 times I heard that in different places, you know, and even in different counties. This happened in different counties, and including this county. But they were always 3 knocks. But on this place, I have heard 1 knock, and I've even heard knocks that were metallic sounding. Actually, the other day, it was about, I don't know, a week ago, I walked out the front door, and I heard something, and this is the same spot where I have a lot of activity. I heard a like a metallic sound, just 1 knock.
I've heard that too, man.
And I said, what in the world's over there that's metallic? And then I thought about it. I said, oh man, there's an old corn conveyor that's down in the woods there, and the trees grew up around it. And I figured that must have been what it hit, was that corn conveyor. And but back to the trees, I got off and I looked at trees, took some pictures, and I sent you those pictures.
Yeah,
And while
I'm getting ready.
Pictures, I smelled a smell, and best way I can describe it is like methane and skunk mixed together.
That's nasty.
That's what I can describe it smelled like. And then it dissipated, and then I went to get back on the tractor, and I caught a whiff of it again. It didn't last that long that time. And I heard a rumble. I forgot about that. I heard that rumbling noise I used to hear when I was sitting here in the house. Just one time, it was just a low rumble. And I got on the tractor, and I pushed those trees out of the way and went on with my day. And about 2 weeks ago, I stepped down on my porch. Well, let me back up. I'm going to go back to why I started cutting my porch lights on.
Yes.
I had my truck is parked out in front of the house here, and I was doing some work on my chicken pen, and I had my front end loader hauling some logs over there. And I got everything over there in that spot, and I just parked my tractor right beside. It's an old jacuzzi, and I filled it up with dirt, and I planted strawberries in it.
You want this one?
And I was noticing every day up to that point, I was noticing every day my strawberries be eat up. I just thought it was birds doing it, and I was saying I got to get a net or something to cover them strawberries up. And anyway, the next day I got up, I went out to get my truck to start it, and it wouldn't start. I said, man, did I leave the lights on or something? So I walked over to the tractor, and I was going to get the tractor and drive it over and jump the truck off, and it was dead. But it turned out not only the battery was dead, I had to replace that battery, plus I had to replace the starter on it. And I got thinking, I'm wondering if the woo stuff, they say they can, manipulate magnetism and whatever. I got that just crossed my mind. I said, you know what, I can't have this. I can't have them tear my stuff up. So that night, I started cutting the porch lights on. Then I started noticing every day my strawberry bed was full of strawberries. From that point on, I had strawberries. I ate strawberries every day. And the rumbling noises I'd hear sitting here in my den stopped. All this house slapping stopped. All that stuff stopped that I was hearing. It just stopped. And the stuff that I have going on now is just stuff that happens staying on the back side of my place. And then I did an experiment about 2 weekends ago. I said, I'm going to see what happens. I just cut the back floodlights off, see what happens tonight. So I cut them off, and about 1:30 in the morning, I walked back on the back porch to water the grass, and I heard a
We're going to go ahead and show a few of these photos. Let me get my screen sharing up, and we'll describe what we're seeing in the photos,
That after that night that I had the slap and the limb break all right in a row, snap. I got up next morning and I said, and I walked over along the fence line. The fence line is about a quarter mile long, and my hip back's so messed up I can't walk that far. But I drove my truck up to where I thought I heard it at, and I got looking all along the fence line there, and then I found that's where I found a footprint. You got that picture. Looks like to me, looks like a left foot. Looks like what he'd done is he straddled over the fence and he put his right foot down on the grass, and then he had to bring that left foot over and he hit the dirt right there, and that's where that footprint's at. That's just my analysis of it.
Right.
Reconstructing, because I've got a lot of experience reconstructing crime scenes and doing accident scenes, reconstructing them. So I just use that.
We're looking. Let's go through these photos. So right now we're looking at 2 big pine trees that fell together on another pine tree about, I don't know, 8 to 10 feet up. We're just showing some of these structures.
Now that's over my grandmother's place. She's
okay.
got 200 acres, about 15 miles from me on the west fork of the Choctawhatchee River. Their back property line, the Choctawhatchee River runs on the back property line, and that's where that picture was taken.
Okay. And then we are going to show this picture, which is a close-up of it, how it actually, that is crazy. So that's
the big pine tree.
Yeah. It's a pine tree. They look to be anywhere to be 12 to 13-inch diameter trees. One standing and alive. The other 2 are like right weaved on top of one another, end to end, right where the live one is in the middle. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, that's over there at my grandmother's place.
Okay.
I was driving around looking for some other stuff, and I just happened to notice that. I was like, wow, I need to take some pictures of that.
Let's see. Let's get rid of this one. Let's get rid of this one. This next one we're going to show, I guess this is the tree that you, this is part of the, the branches and stuff that are pulled across that trail. You've got there's one branch that's still kind of attached. It's crossing the trail, the crown, is on the ground, and then there's another entire stem. I think that's the tree that you cut down, pulled off the trail, and then they pulled it back. Something pulled it back on the trail.
Right. And like I say, I pushed that way up in the woods to get it out of the way of the road, so I wouldn't hit it.
You moved it, and then it reappears back on the trail.
Right. And I did that months ago. That tree been pushed up there months ago.
Wow. So let's see what else we got. This is another.
That one spot right there, I'll constantly have saplings pulled over in the road right there all the time since I've lived here in that one spot.
Yeah, I'm about to show this next one, and it's really clear. And this is probably the oddest part of the whole deal is this photo, because of the way it's done. Now, if you look at this, folks, sometimes when things are natural, you can't tell if they're natural or not. Look how this is deliberately. There's two of them. This one's still got green on it. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit.
And you see that thing snapped it. It was clean, a clean snap. I don't say I did it. I don't.
But it's just crazy how they put it right across the trails. Two of them. I mean, deliberately. I mean, one's a branch with no foliage on it, but the other one is completely green. You know, it didn't naturally do that.
Right.
And then the other part of the tree that you moved off out of the way of the road, it's there. That's crazy. So let's see what other images I have left to show. We showed that one. Showed that. Oh, we still have the two big ones to show, and that's the tracks. Screen share.
And I was going to take measurements of that, and it ended up raining, so it.
Well, what's funny is Patrick. I showed Patrick this, and he said this is definitely a track, but it's been rained on. So, and you just confirmed that exactly what he said, that was rained on. So, is this actually sharing?
I got a size.
Yes.
I wear a size 13. I put my foot up aside there, and it was longer than my boot.
Let's see. We are going to.
How about the one I cleaned up, Scott?
I don't have that one. Just give me a minute here. Give me a minute. Where in the hell is it? Any other time I know what I'm doing.
Techie.
I had another thing I ain't really thought about, but I got a little rabbit. I've only got one rabbit, by the way. All the rest of them been eaten up.
Rabbits have been eaten too?
Yeah, all but one. And I got him in this big cage, and I got 2 water bottles that sit on the side, but it's under the shed. And I got one that kind of sits closer to the edge over there by where I've got that jacuzzi strawberry bed.
Uh-huh.
And that one water is knocked off. It's only that one. All the time I find it knocked off. But since I cut the lights on and since you put the floodlights on, all that stopped. I don't have that problem anymore. But that was one of the things I just thought about that. That's another thing that happened. I don't know, they're just knocking it off to knock it off, or they were drinking water out of it. I don't know.
When they taking your strawberries from you?
Oh yeah, I forgot too.
Yeah, tell them about that
Tell
part
them
of it.
about that story.
I forgot about this. I found a scuppernong in my strawberry bed, and there's no scuppernongs around there at all. None of them were around to be found.
Wait, what you found?
A scuppernong, wild. I don't know. I guess you call it a wild grape. I guess.
Wild grape. Okay, some people might not know what that is. I knew what it was, but this is this is the track here. Patrick had done some cleaning up. I did a down and dirty, Brighton shadow highlight type deal here.
Which made me think of something else, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go, buddy. Sure.
This whole entire property is covered in huckleberries, blackberries, wild scuppernongs. I mean, this whole place is covered in them, but I have never found a berry on anything.
Really?
Not one berry have I ever found. And I just assumed at the time I noticed it, I said, I guess it's because of the bees. There's no bees pollinating. That was just my guessing at the time. But I got thinking about it. I said, they eat berries. Them things are eating up all my berries. That's where all my berries are going.
Wow. So are you gonna do? We talked a little bit. I gave you some direction that if you wanted to try to keep it going, be safe. But you think you're gonna plant your hot tub with the strawberries again?
I know it's a permanent thing. That's gonna be permanent.
Oh, it's gonna be permanent.
Yeah, that's why I filled it up to the front end load and filled it full of dirt, and then planted strawberries in there, and them strawberries here to stay. I'll just winter them over and put some pine straw over the winter to winterize them, and I'll just pull pine straw off there in the springtime, and hopefully I'll have some next year.
Yeah. Well, so what about didn't you find some flowers on your tractor or something odd?
Oh, I forgot about that too. I was changing out I had the hydraulic line blew on me on my tractor. And I said, I guess it's a good time to change that fluid out because I hadn't done it in 500 hours. So I'll go ahead and change the fluid out. And anyway, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. I got on the tractor to crank it up. And there was a flower right in my, I got a little cup holder. And there was like a vine, I just tossed it down at the time. I didn't think nothing about it. And as soon as I tossed it down, I thought, gift, And I looked up above me to see if there was any flowers growing above me where I was standing. There's none around. So this had been pulled, it was a little shoot.
Well, it was placed there, yeah.
With flowers, like a morning glory. It kind of looked like a morning glory.
Morning glory, I've heard of that.
And I looked around, and I didn't see no morning glory anywhere around. So I'm just wondering if it was a gift. Right.
It could have possibly been. Tell the short story. I know when we first talked, you told me of the shadow you saw and the screams that were right there past the barbed wire fence and all that. Do you remember that? Didn't you say that you heard some moans or howls?
Yeah, me and my friend were sitting in that backyard. I don't know, it was back in wintertime, I guess. We had a little fire going.
Yeah.
And I was just messing around. I picked up 2 sticks and I clacked them together 3 times. And as soon as I did that, we heard one. I mean, it was a scream, like a wow, and it was loud. And it scared her, my friend. She said, "Don't do that again."
Wow. So the sound wasn't anything that you heard, right? Heard before?
It wasn't like a coyote or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, I know all them noises. I've heard them everything. I've heard bobcats. I've heard mountain lions.
I know.
I've heard it all. It was nothing like that. It was more like a person screaming. I mean, real loud. I mean, I don't even think a person could have done that. But it was like the same cadence of a person that was screaming real loud, not kind of like a shrill,
right?
Or
Coral.
I can't explain it to you.
We got a question for you, Carl. Go, Patrick.
Were the flowers on your tractor after or before you knocked 3 times?
Before what?
Before you knocked 3 times.
Oh, that was after. That happened, the knocking thing. And like I say, I was just messing around. We were sitting down there at the fire. That might have been back in January. We were just sitting there just talking, and I picked them sticks up, and I knocked them together 3 times, and then immediately I heard a wow.
And then when did the flowers happen?
The flowers happened yesterday.
Okay.
A lot of this stuff is just starting to happen.
Well, it sounds like they want you to notice them there.
A lot more has happened that I just assumed it was something else at the time, and it's taken me a while. I guess it's probably, I don't know, about last year sometime I started putting stuff together, and I said, this got to be boogers, man. That was my first time. And
okay.
Ain't nobody can get down here. Number one, nobody's going to come down here without me knowing that they're coming. And nobody's just going to sneak on this place, because they can't just sneak on this place because there's high banks and stuff, and there's fences they got to cross. And it'd just be too aggravating me. And I'm on the very dead end, and it'd be just too aggravating to come down here and try to bother me, you know?
Right. Yeah, I've seen where Carl actually resides, and if you can think of being most rural type settings with homes spaced out anywhere from 1 to 5 to 10 acre spreads, all the way to larger spreads. He is on a dead end road, all the way to the back. There's no other reason for you to be there unless you have business at Carl's place. And then behind him is what we call contiguous woods. I mean, it's all woods with those creeks. He's got some nice hardwoods back there. He actually showed me a bunch of turkeys as well. It was kind of cool. Patrick's got something for you.
Okay, well, Mr. Carl. Mr. Carl.
Hey, go ahead.
All right. Well, you were doing a 3 knock and you got screamed at. I might suggest doing a 1 knock. You know, I wouldn't do 2 or 3.
I've been listening to what you said, so like I say, I was just messing around. I wasn't even trying to really do anything. I was just messing around.
Well, you messed around and told that Sasquatch off and to get out of the area. That's why she screamed at you.
Well,
we had a growl. One day we was over there around my chicken pen. Me and my friend was over there around my chicken pen collecting eggs. We was walking back, and this was probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we heard a growl come right out of the woods where I had a lot of activity, where that metallic sound came from, where I got that picture of one. Constantly have all kinds of stuff going on right in that little spot right there. There's probably about a 30-acre section that runs along the fence line all the way down to the creek. And but we heard a growl come out of there. I said, "Did you hear that?" She said, "Yeah, I heard it." I said, "Well, that wasn't my imagination then." She goes, "No, it wasn't." I said, "Okay."
Wow. Yeah, so this is steadily going to go on. Is this something that you're going to pursue somewhat or keep an eye out? Do you have any thoughts about actively maybe trying to do the single knock theory, or are you gonna start looking and investigating?
Pictures of it.
Yeah, everybody wants that.
That's impossible to do.
Yeah, I know. But
Oh,
what you're saying is kind of your detail of the sighting that you had when you described it as being a hoodie, and then it lifted its arms up with the hair, and you were completely perplexed about what you were seeing. That's something else. And
Dismalite is. That was my thinking, was maybe it was Dismalite. He'd been in that thing down in that creek and got some Dismalite on his fur, on his hair or whatever.
What is that?
And it's like a worm, and it glows in the dark. And if you get it on you, you'll glow too.
What?
And it's called Dismalite.
You heard of that, Patrick?
I don't think we have that here.
No. Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's all, this in the creek bottoms and stuff is where these worms are. And I just, thinking about it later, I said, well, that must have been Dismalite that was on his hair that was glowing, And it wasn't like a whole bunch. It was just like little streaks. Just little streaks of it on his fur.
Well, there are researchers out there. Mark Zaski, who is over in Florida, has done extensive research with hair samples that are clear. And anyone who really does any type of video or photo editing knows about the color scale of 8-bit, 0 to 255, depends on the bit depth. But the way you get colors is you have white and black, and you have all the grays in between. And to make red, white, and blue RGB, it's a combination of that 0 and 255 of those grayscales of color. So, and these hair samples that he found, literally, when he put it under the microscope, was somewhat clear. But then when he brought the light up to it, it almost looked like the surface of the hair follicle was moving. I mean, it would turn golden. It would turn green.
Green is what I saw.
Yeah.
That streak.
And
is what I was seeing was green.
And he keeps these videos. He is trying to gather money for research still. He's recently taken most of his videos off the YouTube channel, and they're behind. He has a site where you can pay and watch all the videos and stuff like that. It goes to his research. But his videos and his information, the stuff that they've been doing, is well worth. If there was one researcher that I'd say that I'd pay to go join and watch the videos and be a part of it, it would be Mark Zaski stuff. I think he's on to something with the way that light reacts with certain hair follicles that these creatures may have. It could be a possibility. Yeah, it's possible. Part of it's easy to see how these things would blend in on if you diffuse light and put in on enough of these clear follicles along with gray and brown hair. It would almost appear like his whole body, he or she, the creature, could literally be camoed out. So when you put that type of creature in the woods that remains motionless in a bush, it's why we walk right by him and we'll never know.
Well, like that picture I got, I didn't even see him when I took the picture.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, there's dark spots, and then where his trunk, his chest and back are in between the two saplings, and it's a lot lighter than the rest of it. Then you look, and then you see his backside. He's bent over, and he's got one arm down, and it looks like he's got another hand that's wrapped around that left sapling. And you can actually see the legs and the feet and the toes. You can actually make out toes on it.
Yeah.
But where his trunk is, it's almost clear looking.
Yeah, I wish you were here, so you could literally like show us, because it is difficult for me to. Wait a minute, I got the wrong one. I just downloaded this. If you can
look at it, stare at it long enough, you'll start to see what I'm talking about. You'll pick those things up if you stare at it long enough. You'll pick it up. You'll make out the entire body.
Hold on, I'm about to share it.
I mean, you see the two eye sockets. It looks like deep set eye sockets, and then you can kind of make out a mouth, and you can make out the nose, and you can make out the shape of the head.
That looks like a beak.
And like I say, there's one arm hanging down, and then the other one looks like he's got a hold of that sapling. And his right foot stuck out, and you can make out toes on it. Like I say, you kind of have to stare at it a while, but if you stare at it a while, you pick it up. Once you see it, you see it every time.
See?
Send that one to me, please.
I wonder if he means this right here.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. Yes.
So is it standing sideways?
He's leaning over. He's between two trees leaning
Yes.
over. There's two stumps right there, and I actually had somebody that looked at that picture and thought those stumps were people standing there and thought he was 30 foot tall.
No, I don't think
those are stumps.
this
right
isn't
there.
leaned
That's
over.
about
This
2
is
foot
upright.
2 foot tall stumps.
He's saying
I
he's
said,
leaned
this thing, I
over.
figured it out. He'd probably be close to 10 foot tall if he was standing totally erect. But he's bent over in between those two saplings and got one arm hanging down.
Oh.
Looks like his right arm's hanging down, and looks like if you look real close on that front sapling right there, you can make out nothing
Sees the foot.
that's wrapped around that tree right there.
How short he would be.
And then he's got his right foot stuck out, and you can see the toes. You can make out the toes on it.
Yeah, right here. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I definitely want to take some time with it. Patrico,
I wish I would have saved my next day pictures. At the time,
Send
I
the
would ever.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you.
Anybody else.
Yeah.
I was convinced of what it was at the time, and I'm like, well, that was Sasquatch.
That's crazy. You might have captured something, you know. Here it is, Patrico.
He's bent over and he's looking at me, looking direct right at me.
I sent it to your phone, Patrick. Yeah, that's crazy, you know.
And sci-fi, actually, when she brightened it up, she saw another head sticking up in the background.
That's right here. You can see the two eye sockets right here. See? Stand back. See the two eyes? One eye over here and one eye over
And I
here.
never saw that. I never saw it until she lightened it up, or brightened it up, and she showed it. She circled it, and then when I saw it, when she did that, I saw it. But up until that point, all I saw was that one that's bent over between the two saplings.
I don't see anything. It's difficult for me to.
When you see techie
But
stuff.
the way they blend in, I can see how it can be, hard to see.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Camouflage on, you get in the woods and you stand still.
Right.
Most people ain't never going to see you.
True.
I've turkey hunted my whole life, man.
Yeah.
And I know.
Look.
You take camouflage up, man. You sit still, you can't. Nobody will see.
Look, Carl. Remember, there was a time that there was a camouflage company that's no longer in business, and Ben Lee endorsed it. It was called Hide and Pine. Do you remember Hide and Pine?
I think I remember
Anyway,
I used to get that Alabama Thor magazine. I think they had some for sale up there.
Back in my teens and early 20s, I would push the boundaries and I would outlaw when I turkey hunted. Only because I had gone 3 years without shooting my first turkey. And usually I'd have to travel 3 to 5 hours to get to some place to go. So one day I knew damn well I shouldn't have been on somebody's property. And I don't advocate this. I don't do this anymore. You know, I was young, dumb, and I went on private property where there was a beautiful little ryegrass food plot, and I sat in there and I started hunting in the afternoon. And I'm sitting at the base of a tree like turkey hunters do. I'm about 10 yards off the food plot in what's called a pulpwood stand. These trees were only about 2 inches in diameter, right? They were managed well. They were needing a good thinning then. So I'm starting to doze off. I'm making this long story short. I'm starting to doze off, and I start hearing this crow call, and it sounds like a sick crow. Well, it's getting closer, and I'm like, damn, I think that's another hunter that's coming in the woods. Sure enough, he must have blew the call like 20 yards from me. He must have been standing off the trail at the food plot, which I was only 30 yards from there. So, dude, are you jumpy or what? Patrick, what happened there? Did you see that? Patrick got scared to death. What was that? Someone hit the window?
My horse flew outside.
Wait, what? What was it?
I'm sitting here trying to pick a squatch out of a bush, and my horse blows outside out my window.
I heard that, and Patrick like to jump out of the chair.
Well, you gotta understand,
Oh
I've had some pretty sketchy experiences.
I know. So anyway, this guy, I hear this. I like sneak back another 20 yards, and I stand up. Well, this guy's starting to walk, and I'm watching him now through these thin pines, and I'm like, he is gonna bust me, to the point where I could not run or move, or he would have saw me, because these pines are only 2 inches in diameter. So you know what I did? I stayed stone still. And I'm like, this dude is going to bust me. He came, I don't think it was 15 steps. And he is looking in the woods right in my eyes, bending down, squinting his eyes. And I'm sitting there going, is he going to see my face mask moving from me breathing? That's how close. I mean, I was squinting my eyes to shut off the whites of my eyes. And he just went on about his business. He just walked the tree. He never saw me there at all. And I'm sitting there going, if Ben Lee could hear the story about this hiding pine, how well it just worked. It just fooled a landowner and helped. We lost Patrick. He'll come back. Well, brother, let's see if we got some questions here. Somebody had put something up like $9.99. I think somebody might have found what Crypto Reality is charging per month. I think that's what that was. I kept my eye on it for so long, but if that's what it was, just somebody give me a thumbs up on Crypto Reality price. $10 a month, yeah, it's a little steep for Sasquatch stuff. Okay. I spend 12 on Amazon Prime. So, you know, if it was $5 or maybe 3, I might do it, but not 10. Hey, buddy. Patrick is back. Well, Carl, let's see if we got some questions here. Does anybody have? Yeah, sure. Sure. Go ahead, buddy.
Kid, you know, summertime came in, the shirt come off and shoes come off. And I just had a pair of shorts on all the time. And I went everywhere. I'd go over to my grandparents' farm and mess around there all day barefoot. You know, and I go down in that river swamp and stuff. I carried a 22 rifle, and I'd find as many 22 bullets as I could, and I'd go down there and walk, and I'd go down there and go fishing and stuff. And I'd find footprints down there. They were big footprints. And I didn't think nothing about it, because I'm down here in the woods, down in this swamp barefoot. I didn't think nothing about it. But as I got older, I got thinking, I said, there ain't no way for nobody to get down there barefoot. There's no way, because it's about 2 miles from the gate, and their property's on dead end. And then the back side of their property is the Choctawhatchee River. There's just no way nobody could get in there. And I just didn't think nothing back then, you know. I didn't think nothing about it. I'm barefoot, somebody else is down here barefoot. But thinking about that as I got older and started putting all this together, I said that probably was one of them down in there, or a pod of them down there. Am I still with you?
Yes, you are, sweetheart. You're here. Let's see if there's any questions. Patrick, I sent you the original one. Let's see. So I know you did. Huh? You're breaking up really bad. So, Carl, you said that they were stealing the strawberries out of your little jacuzzi tub that you put together?
Yeah, every day they'd be gone. And I just assumed it was birds. I know, you know, we always had strawberries growing up, and birds would get to them, you know. But they always just picked, you know, a big little piece out of it. But these would just disappear, and I just assumed it was birds. But now that I know what I know what it was. I mean, there'd be nothing there. They'd just totally be gone. But when I started cutting the porch lights and floodlights on at night, I started having all of them they had berries on it every day. There'd be 5 or 10 of them every day. I got every pick.
So you got to the point where they had no more strawberries left. They were eating all your strawberries.
It was eating every dang one of them. And like I say, I found that scupping in there, and there's no scupping around nowhere. And I can't find it. And even if I go look on one place, I can't find any scupping. So I don't know where he picked that thing up at.
Well, what I think is what you ought to do is do a separate garden for them. You know, grow strawberries away from your place, like what we had talked about. You know, further down in the holler. That way they may leave your stuff alone.
Yeah, I got a little spot down there that I took that picture, and there's a little cleared out spot right there. I may just do that next year. Plant them some just for them.
Yeah, I think they would like that.
I tell them, look, these are mine, them's yours. Leave mine alone.
And I remember you telling me that you said that it was stinking. What did it smell like?
I forget what I said. What I call it, SBDS, silent but deadly satisfied.
You said methane and skunk, huh?
You know,
Yeah, methane and skunk.
You know, people talk about this defense mechanism. They release a smell.
Yeah.
I wonder if they don't just cut the cheese, man, because if you want to clear a room, man, you just cut a good one. Everybody's going to leave the room. You know, you down there in his house, he may be barking, man. That's what it might be.
Hey, Carl.
It stinks, I'll tell you that. It stinks bad.
Hey, Carl.
Uh-huh.
How many do you think is around your area? How many individuals do you think are there?
I don't know. I'm thinking there's like maybe a little family pod in this area right here because, and I forgot about this. I actually had walked out on the porch just about 3 years ago to water the grass. You know, it was at nighttime, and I got a pool back there. It's a above ground pool, and I got a little deck built there. And I actually saw this thing standing there, but it just didn't click in my brain at the time. And but I got to think about it later. I said, man, that looked like a white booger standing right there. And it was just tall as me, or maybe just a little bit taller. So I'm thinking between that one picture I got and seeing that white one, and just all the different activity around the place. I think there must be a family living in the area because it's a good area for them to live. There's farmland and a lot of wooded land.
Well, Carl, have you got out and looked for various sizes of tracks?
No, my back, my hips are in pretty bad shape, and I can't do that much walking. And most of the stuff I run into when I'm on my tractor or where I drive to a spot and get out and have to run across something or stuff that happens right here around the house. I just can't get out and walk. That's my problem right now. Hopefully they're going to fix my hip soon and I can maybe get out and walk a little bit more.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Here's a question for you. It says, do you feel threatened at your place?
No, I just don't want them messing my stuff up and killing my animals. I'm not scared of them. I just don't want them breaking my stuff, killing my animals. That's the big deal with me.
Here's something I thought about in another area that I deal with. I thought about putting X structures up around the perimeter that I don't want them in. If you have a cleared yard.
Good idea. I'm not trying to do that.
What do you say, Christy?
I have not thought about it. That's a good idea. Most people say cut the floodlights on, put cameras out, that stops them. So I didn't have enough cameras to put out, but I did have some floodlights, so I did that. And that, like I say, it stopped all this activity going around the house. I mean, I was having it all the time, and the rumbling noises and the house slapping and pieces of limb. I'm talking about not just little pieces of limb. I'm talking about big as round as my arm, throwed up on my top of my roof, and I'd hear it too. I'd hear it. And I actually got in the tub one day, and I heard a boom. It sounded like on the roof. And when I got out of the tub, I went outside, and there was right where the bathroom is. It threw it right there on top of the bathroom.
Well,
I mean, I have tons of stuff. I'm probably forgetting stuff.
Yeah, Carl. The thing about the X's that I considered putting X structures in the area that I didn't want them in, but the thing is, the reason I didn't or haven't is because it may put a segregation to where I don't allow them where I am. I may not be allowed on the other side of the X, even though it's still my property.
I didn't think about it. And they already blocking my road, so they apparently don't like me going across that little spot.
They may not want anyone else coming in that spot but you.
Well, I mean, I told them, I said, well, they apparently were around because I could smell them. I said, look, man, I got to have access through this road. I'm not going to bother you. Don't bother me. Just don't mess with my road. And that's what I said to them.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard? Go ahead.
It sounds like they want you to know they're there. That's what it sounds like. Because if they're throwing stuff at you, they want your attention. I'm not sure what to say about that.
Yeah, that family. I thought about this too. This family that lived in this house was older couple, and I told them the day I bought this place, I said, "Man, I know y'all gonna miss that place, man. That's a beautiful place there." And that lady, she goes, "No, I will not." And I mean, I didn't really pick up on it. I just figured, well, he's living down in the woods there. That's what I thought when she said it. But I'm just wondering, she hadn't had experiences. And her sister-in-law lives about a mile down the road. She said that woman never left the house. She stayed in the house all the time. And I got thinking, I said, maybe she's seen them boogers around here and she's scared to go out.
Yeah, that's one aspect too. How far away is your nearest neighbor?
Oh, Probably maybe right at a quarter mile, maybe a little further.
Have you ever toyed around with just asking people in the area just about strange things, not necessarily Bigfoot outright, but what have?
Yeah, the neighbor lives about halfway down the road. There's only three houses on this road.
Okay.
And I asked the one that lives about halfway down, because she works at the store and I talk to her all the time, and I take eggs down to them all the time. And I asked her, I said, "You ever see any kind of weird stuff around here?" She said, "Well, yeah, we got this ghost that walks," she calls it a ghost, walks across the dam all the time, and I've seen it a few times walking at nighttime across the dam when it's bright enough to see.
Wow. She lives alone?
No, she got one of her sons lives there with her.
Yeah. Well, you know, you never really.
My batteries got dead. Hers got dead that same night.
What, on her vehicle?
Yeah, my tractor, my truck, and her vehicle.
Yeah, he told me that. And the day before that, you know, your tractor was fine, and the battery goes dead. Then you talk to the neighbor; she tells you about strange things, and the same day, you notice that her vehicle battery goes dead. That's
right. She had, like, my neighbor that lives down the first house. He saw me, and he's got some property that he has actually come across in front of my house to get to his property. So I always know who's supposed to be here, and I always know when they are coming down because I can see them. They can't come down here without me seeing them. And he was coming by and he saw me and he said, "You need to jump." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I was trying to get you too."
Yeah. Hey, that picture that you sent me, where the track was, there's a barbed wire fence there, and on the other.
No, it's a hog wire. It's hog wire. Yeah, there's an old fence.
Yeah.
No fence.
Is that your property? Is that your property across there, or is that someone else's private property, or is that there to?
That's my property right there, and I put up a new fence right there in front of that old fence, and there's some barbed wire. Yeah, I forgot about that. There is some old barbed wire right there.
Yeah, noticed that. What's the main reason to have that hog wire fence up?
I got some goats.
Oh,
and I got cows.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to think. Do you, when you walk that little dim road there along that hog wire fence, do you look at that fence for any type of hair?
Yeah, I have been since that 3 slaps and a limb break. I've actually kind of kept my eye out to see if I can find any hair hanging off of it.
Right. Huh. Well, there's something definitely about your place there. I definitely think it's the area. And who am I to say? But like Patrick will explain to you, Big Sam is someone that really doesn't show himself. He's smart. He stays back. You know, maybe you have juvenile or younger Sasquatch that like to see what's going, like to see what you're doing. Now, when we talked last, you were leaving that floodlight on. Are you leaving it off to test if maybe some other?
I just, like I said, I don't want none of my animals hurt. I don't want none of my equipment broke. It's too expensive to try to fix equipment. If they ain't doing that kind of stuff, I leave the light on.
Yeah, I wish we could come out there and you turn your lights off and see what happens. Because I'd be interested to know if you started a session like maybe twice a week, like a Tuesday and a Thursday, and you turned your lights off between, I don't know, 10 and or when it gets dark until a certain time, and see if something starts happening. But I totally understand you don't want your equipment messed up. You don't want the goats to be killed and things of that nature. but it might be worth journaling to see if you turn those lights off, they start playing around with you again. Go, Patrick.
I'm pretty sure it happened.
Scott has an excellent idea.
The wild stuff happening here. I mean, it's some wild stuff.
Well, Scott has an excellent idea. You could use the lights that you have to condition them to come in at a certain time on certain days, and you could be there to ambush them with a camera.
Yeah.
Let them get into the area, have a camera in hand and a spotlight, and it's almost like tracking them, but you're not.
Right.
And you'll know where they're going to be at, and when you hear them step in, you could hit them with Q-beam and video.
If for so long they were conditioned to come up there and fool around, play with the goats, play with your tractor, fool around with the branches, jump the fence and leave a footprint, then all of a sudden you start leaving those lights on, things, it still kind of stayed going on, but it happened from a distance. If you turn those lights off at certain times, and just like he said, you condition them, you're enticing them to come back, and you don't do anything right away. Let it start happening, and literally let them do things without you taking video or anything. Let them get comfortable with coming on a Tuesday night or a Saturday night between 9 and 1 a.m. and journal what you're literally experiencing. And then, like, let's say after a month of this, to where you're saying, Jesus, on Saturday night, I can turn out the light, and between 9 and 1, something's going to happen at my house. They're either going to slap something, they're going to throw something, or blah, blah, blah. Then you can begin to literally start playing chess with your ideas.
Put a tire swing up.
Ah, that's a good idea.
I've seen that video where that guy had used some tires that he chained up.
Damn good idea.
Do something like that where I took that picture at.
Yes. That'd be a perfect place to do it. Turn that light off, and you come outside and that damn swing is swinging.
That guy, well, he was using two-way mirrors or something, wasn't he, to catch him. Guy down in Texas.
Forget about that. The tires story that I heard was from MK Davis. They did it out west, and they were huge tires. And I think they even found one of these massive skidder tires in the tree. Eventually, it went in the tree because they took them away or something, and they got mad, and they threw something up in the tree like a piece of a vehicle, and it's like, there's no way that. A couch. It was a couch that was literally stuck up in a damn tree because they took the tires away.
JJ has a question. He wants to know if Carl has had any vocalizations.
Yeah, I've had the vocalizations.
What kind?
I've had that yell out there sitting at the fire. And of course, I've had the growls. I've had growls a few times. And that
had to be close if you heard growls.
And the rumbling noises, like I say, yesterday, when I was working on the road, and I got off the tractor, I heard a rumble sound, and it was right after that I smelled it. I smelled that smell. And I heard the rumble noise first, and then I heard, or I smelled the smell like, I don't know, about 4 or 5 seconds later.
Right.
The rumble smell.
Patrick, what?
Maybe farted. I don't.
Yeah. What do you think could this rumbling sound be? I have no idea. That's the first time I've ever heard of that.
I got an idea. It could be like an alligator. You know how an alligator rumbles?
Oh yeah, it's kind of a guttural vibration that they make.
Could possibly be.
That's what it's like, a vibration. Exactly what it is. It's like thunder, like a vibrating. You can kind of feel it,
That's weird, Patrick.
They can.
Thank you.
They can growl they can growl so slowly and so raspy that it feels like a vibration. You actually feel it almost like the bass coming out of a speaker. You can feel the growl.
Yeah. That's a good analysis right there. It sounds like a bass.
Yeah, it sounds like
stuff going in the road, and all you hear is thump, 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 thump. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you're probably in a Bigfoot zone.
I think he's
I'm
squatchy.
convinced. I'm absolutely convinced. Like I said,
I know you are, bud.
Come to this conclusion overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a while to come to the conclusion. I want to say, yeah, there's Bigfoot on my place.
Well, I'd like to point out that there's different levels of acceptance and knowing. Because you can have something happen and you're like, oh, I know what did it, but. And then, as the years progress, you'll say, I know what did it, but. And after a while, you'll just say, I know. Because you've been able to wrap your head around it and know exactly what's going on, even though the person next to you may say, man, how can you think that? But there's definitely different levels.
Yeah. Well, just think about this. You live alone, Carl, right?
Yeah, I do.
So,
except me and my animals.
Right. You and your animals, you're there on that place. You're retired. You enjoy being outdoors. You're a man of the rural area. Do you hunt or fish, or did you before your hips started getting bad? Or yeah,
When hunting season used to come in, I'd be
hunting.
on
Right.
days off, we'd be in the woods before daylight, and I'd be there till after dark. I'd sit. If I was deer hunting, I'd sit in the deer stand all day.
Well, one thing.
Pretty much same thing.
Right. Hunters have a different category to the definition of alertness and being aware. Not everybody has it because everybody's walk of life keeps them in a certain bubble. But kind of living where you live, folks that grow up in the rural around agriculture, being outdoors, and the fact that you hunt, you tend to have a bit of an advantage to knowing your surroundings and kind of ruling out several things that most people just aren't aware of if you're not a person of the woods. And I'm glad that you know these things. You ask these questions. You're kind of inquisitive about what's going on. You're damn sure concerned about the fact that you don't want them ruining your stuff. I get that. Go ahead, Patrick.
You're doing a good job.
Well, man, do you got anything else to say? Man, we sure do appreciate you coming on tonight and letting us know literally about and what I love about Carl's stories here, they're nothing riveting. Carl doesn't have this full frontal half body encounter that changed his life, but what he does have is dozens of small idiosyncrasy, unexplainable issues that are happening that no other animals could possibly be doing there on his property, to the point where, he's ruled that out. He's ruled that out. It's taken time for him to get to the level where he's at, just like Patrick said. He's gotten to a level of knowing that something else is going on, that you're not crazy, you're not nuts, you're not losing your mind. Something is going on there. And, it's very difficult to prove. We get that, but that's part of about what Bigfoot Explorer is. And that's taken the people who don't have a voice and giving them a platform to say, hey, listen, this is what's going on here. Either just listen, lend some help, or just be aware that even though you don't see them and get a full-on sighting all the time around your place, there's something going on here to be aware of.
And I don't even begin looking for this stuff.
I know. I know. And, you know, usually the people like you who are having this going on, they're the people who do not want to speak about it. You very rarely, you're minding your business, you're working your fields, you're tending to your animals, you're cutting grass, you're moving deadfall, you're bringing calves to this one. No, the farm life. You know, you don't have time for Sasquatch to be messing around with your stuff. You are usually the person. I've had probably a dozen or so people who have talked to, and they'll talk to me, but when I mention the show, no way. I said, well, just a phone call. No way. How about you write an email and we'll talk about it? No way. So, you know, it's way more prevalent with folks like you, and I think there's a lot more people who have an inkling or know that just, I know they're never going to say anything. And I think it's a Southern thing. I really think it's a Southern thing.
I want people to know they are around.
Yeah. Especially that old lady.
Talking about my neighbor?
Yeah. I mean, I could see her going to walk out back for something and getting knocked over or something happening. You never see her again.
Well, she got a bunch of dogs around, big dogs around her house. She's probably not scared.
Good. Well, I mean, that's better than nothing. Good old country dogs. All you got to do is feed them. They'll stay right there and protect that spot.
And she was raised right there, so
yeah.
Like she says, it's a ghost. That's what she calls it, a ghost.
It's a ghost because she hasn't seen it, but she knows something's there. She's not dumb.
She's just calling it a ghost, but this dang boogers is what it is.
Booger, booger.
She's calling it a ghost.
What most people call, I love that Sasquatch Outlaw Radio. They have an intro. It says, or what most people call Bigfoot, we call boogers in the South.
Right.
You do, Ricky?
Woolly boogers.
Yeah.
I always heard that.
Woolly
that
boogers.
Growing up, woolly boogers.
Yeah.
Woolly boogers.
Better get in the house, the woolly boogers gonna get you. You know.
Right.
I just thought that was one of the scariest to make us come in the house because we'd stay outside playing all night. You know?
Right. I know. You know, and that's why a lot of people, they remember their grandparents telling them, you better go inside or the boogers are going to get you.
That is the booger man.
It's true, the booger man, right. Well, we have gone over. We've had a good show. I really enjoyed Carl being on. I enjoyed all three of us interacting with Carl. I was glad that we were able to show a few photos. I know I was a little slow with getting it done, but StreamYard's a bit a pain in the butt to get photos up. So I hope that wasn't too much of a distraction. We are going to go ahead and call it a night.
I got to finish my story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sci-Fi is going to talk to y'all a little about her excursion up at Fouke, Arkansas. So take it away.
You was invited, but you couldn't go. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's because we have the Big Red expedition next, 2 weeks from now. So,
Okay, well, Pat's in the room. So anyway, well, I got out there and I met some awesome people. I met Pat, Ramona, Martha, Joe, and I met Lady in the Woods D.
a lot of people from the chat, right?
A lot of people
Yeah.
from the chat, and they're very good people.
Yeah.
But so anyway, well, I got out there and, meet and greet everybody. Well, we heard a wood knock. I heard a whoop. So at nighttime, I was going to get in a tent, and I laid down, and I had a lantern on, and I didn't know how to turn it off at the time. So I laid down. I was looking at the wall, so I could hear something was outside the tent. Well, Pat was behind us, and she saw a shadow moving up towards the back of the tent where I was at. And I could feel something that was there. She said it moved forward and backwards, and she said that she could see maybe a cone-shaped head, going back and forth. So I don't know if the light was deterring them or not, but I was just laying there. I wasn't scared of nothing. So, yeah. And then I believe I seen a picture. Well, I took a picture of a footprint in the thing. I forgot to send it to you earlier. So that was my experience in the expedition.
And then you also went over to
the Monster Mart.
We'll send that picture next time. We'll show the footprint.
Yeah. That was a cool place. But it was a rush deal because I had to get back. I mean, that was a 5.5-hour drive.
Yeah, you went for one night, but weren't they there for like?
They was there since Wednesday.
Yeah.
Some came in Thursday.
Right.
But Pat, put in the chat room what you said.
She's still there?
Yeah, she's still there.
Oh, there.
She is an awesome person. I love Pat.
So you met Pat?
Yes, I did. That is my buddy. She says she's got some squatchy areas too.
Oh wait, Martha says this.
Yeah. Yeah. See, she heard walking too. I'm sorry, Martha. I forgot to mention that about you too. But y'all heard stuff running in between the tents before I even got there.
Probably all the estrogen in the air.
Probably so.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But it was just weird.
That's hysterical.
It was just weird that, you're laying there, and I'm just, normally I'd be jumpy and scared. Scott
said he sent you with a whole pack of adult pens for when you see them bookers and you don't come back. Hey, that's what I pack. I have wet wipes. Wait, what I'm about to say is not bad. Okay? And I am going to show this.
Look what she said too. She said that
Pat says
that it pushed in her tent 3 times.
Pushed my tent in 3 times. Wow. Let me find this real quick for y'all, because this is going to give y'all a good laugh. I promise. Before we leave, hang out just a minute so I can find this. Everybody will need to get some of these. Okay? Here it comes. If you or someone you know is a squatcher and you go in the woods, you may not be prepared for what you're about to see. You think you might be. You think you know what you're going to do. How are you going to handle it? Are you going to be frightened? The fight or flight situation? Well, if you don't know, be prepared.
But
if you don't know, be prepared with these. That's right, friends. These are Shittens, disposable mitten-shaped wet wipes. That's right. Shittens will save the day. You can go on yourself and use your Shittens to clean up. That's right, friends. This isn't a joke. This is not a joke, friends. These are the Shittens disposable mitten-shaped wet wipes. That's right. No one wants to poop on their hands. Clean up any mess with Shittens. Shittens are the revolutionary new way to wipe up your butt and clean up feces while protecting your hands. Created by Mr. Richie Wilson and first announced on the Howard Stern Show. Shittens are disposable mitten-shaped moist wipes. While old-fashioned square wipes just put your hands at risk for all kinds of accidental fecal contamination, the genius mitten shape of a Shitten provides not only safety from poop, but on a large-scale emotional peace of mind.
And it comes 20 in a disposable mitten-shaped wipe.
That's right, and they're safe for babies, pets, and adults. Get your Shittens today while supplies last.
Especially if you see this.
You're killing me. I want to see these on the mission, okay?
I am buying something. I am getting some of these things. I mean, I know we're joking around so I could say the name of them, but these things are real. I couldn't believe someone told me, they said, this isn't real. And there was an Amazon link and I clicked on it and I said, this is a scam. Like I thought it was a fake Amazon. And then I went to the real Amazon and I put in shittens and it came up.
He says, "Are you left or right-handed?"
Hey,
I'm sure
it doesn't matter if it's left or right-handed. It's a shitten. You can flip it either way for left or right. Wait, put them on both if you have a blowout.
Here's the issue. Okay, how do you get it off your hand?
Yeah, how do you get the shit off?
Well, you actually got to.
No, you got to go up to like a pine tree and like rub it to get the shit off.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I wonder if they have instructions on how to get it off. That's such a good question.
I mean, you're certainly not going to do one of these.
No, you're definitely not gonna. Oh my God, that is hysterical, people. That is real. Well, now that most all of the subscribers have left after that chat, the only other thing I'd like to say is, what we'll do is, the next 2 Wednesdays. Well, wait. Let me look at my
Schedule.
At the calendar real quick, guys. Carl, are you okay to still stay online, or do you need to go, or are you good?
Yeah, I guess I could stay on a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, we're getting ready to end, so I appreciate your patience. So this is the 18th. No, we are leaving. Wait, it's next week?
It's next Wednesday. I mean, next
25th. Yeah.
I thought we had 2 weeks. Oh my God.
What you thinking?
I don't know what I'm thinking. I need help.
Yeah, you do.
We're on the ground. We're on the ground. 26.
Thursday, yeah. Thursday the 25th. So what we're going to do is next Wednesday's live stream, Patrick is still having visions of me using the shittens on the mission.
I am not going to be around for that.
He's laughing at what somebody's saying. Which one, Patrick?
Kyle S.
Who? Kyle S. says, great for polishing the old rocket. Rocket mittens as well. They can double as rocket cleanup mittens.
Robert D says, hurry up and order your gloves.
Scott, better get them ordered tonight.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Order your gloves. Bo just puts his hand over his head.
I know, Bo, right?
God, that is so hysterical. So next Wednesday, we won't have much time. We'll literally be gearing up. So Wednesday, we're going to plan on doing a live stream, and it's going to be all about the mission. We have decided, I decided really, that we're going to spend the time in a new place in Mississippi. So we will have the 26th, which is a Thursday, through the 29th in Mississippi. We'll be on the ground there looking for new spots. And we're going to video it, and we're going to bring it to you just like we did the North Louisiana trip. I may bring my drone to get some cinematic shots and look around and things like that. It might be good to add to the show, as well as look at some of the creeks. Now, y'all get this. South Mississippi is the areas that we have picked out. We have one area called the Wade Capital Spot that we have known knocks, known structures, and one footprint. So, it's not North Louisiana where Patrick's at. It's not like we know they have a plan there, but that's what we're going to try to find out. So there's going to be a lot of recon video work that we're going to do, but that's going to also go to show you guys a little bit more tracking in a different area. This is also going to be totally new for Patrick as well. This area is a new area for him, so we're going to put some of those skill sets to the test as well.
Look what Barry said. I wonder what we can do with socks.
God.
They said they're cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, socks have got that. They're not woven tightly. I mean, you still it depends on what sock. You buy those Walmart socks, that's leaking in, brother.
You got to turn it inside out where you have a big nap on the outside of the sock.
Yeah, you got to kind of ball that up.
Robert,
That's a poor man shit in his sock.
no, Robert D says I use McDonald's napkins.
Oh, I'd never, man. I'd use a sweet gum leaf before I'd use a McDonald's napkin.
Happy Meal with that butter.
Hey, at least a sweet gum looks like a hand. There's little microscopic hairs on it. Grabs it, cleans it right out.
What if they had bugs on it?
Hey, I just blow them off and just go right ahead and scoop.
Well, we know Scott would be doing this.
God.
Hey, many a days in the forestry woods, I look for sweet gum or sycamore leaves. Those were
Poison
excellent.
ivy.
No, I never did get it down there. All right, fans.
Some hand wipes, man. Always carry some hand wipes.
Yeah, we Patrick, you have something before we close out?
Nothing I'll admit to.
Okay. Well, look, we want to thank everybody, our subs, for staying with us for as long as we can. We want to thank Mr. Carl for sharing his insight and the crazy things that are going on there. We are going to stay in touch with Carl. He's going to be anyone who gets in touch with me to do these segments and encounters that you guys are having going on. This isn't going to be a one and done thing. You know, next month we might check in with Carl again and have him on and see what's going on. We'd like to see if he's maybe testing the one night without the lights on theory, or has anything new happened. So, and that goes for Still Crazy Chris too. If something goes on there, just send me an email and say something else is going on. That way we start having rapport and start building a community that way, a network of trustworthy people who can collaborate here together. That's one of the main focuses of Bigfoot Explorer. So I've rambled long enough. Thank you, Patrick. If you want to hang on until it's over, you can. We can talk after. If not, feel free to dive out whenever you want. Carl, you can go ahead and hang up and go to bed. I appreciate you, brother. Do you have anything else you want to say, or?
That turkey hunting trip still open whenever you're ready.
Well, you said you can't walk. Hey, March is coming up. You need to get them.
If I have to get me one of them hot rod wheelchairs,
Hey, I'll come over there. We will like weld some damn monster tires on like one of those rascal machines, and we'll just rascal it through the woods, you know.
that'll work.
All right, everybody. Thanks to the subs, Patrick, Sci-Fi, and our guest Carl tonight. Y'all take care. Join us next Wednesday when we are going to talk all about the upcoming mission to the Big Red Expedition in South Mississippi. Thank you very much, and good night, folks.